Welcome to Waypoint of View. We're Jess and Miles, and we're on a worldwide journey to broaden our perspectives by putting ourselves somewhere new on the map. We are currently 4 days into the Three Passes trek in the Khumbu region of Nepal. We have hiked nearly 40 kilometers between Lukla and Tengboche, and after a beautiful sunrise this morning, we are excited to start day 5 on the trail. We're getting a little bit of a later start this morning because we were taking full advantage of the incredible view we had down the valley.
Yeah, when we got in yesterday, it was completely covered in clouds, and the sky started to clear just as it was getting dark, and this morning we have another clear blue sky.
And now we have about 11 kilometers to go to Dingboche, where we're going to be getting over 14,000 feet, but we are both feeling great this morning.
I have to say, staying in these guest houses in these villages, having a nice cup of tea when you show up in a private room with a real bed, you can really lose sight of just how high up you are in these mountains. And I know it's only day 5 and the accommodations are only going to get more basic from here, but we really have been spoiled so far.
Just before 11, and we still have a blue sky. We have Lhotse straight in front of us, and we can still see a tiny little bit of Everest.
It is about 2:15 and we are coming into Dingboche now.
It really was the perfect day.
It's still pretty clear even.
Yeah, the clouds are rolling in, but it's clearer than some of these other afternoons have been.
Snowing outside?
It's snowing outside. It's snowing.
It's about 8:30 and we are on the trail. Today we are officially turning off the normal Everest base camp route and headed up a different valley to Chukung, where we're going to be spending the next couple days preparing for our first big pass.
It seems that we have found ourselves in a bit of a pattern. Another snowstorm blew in yesterday afternoon, but then it started to clear by the evening, and then now we have another beautiful clear morning. It's quite cold this morning. Last night was definitely our coldest night yet, but we are starting to warm up now on the trail.
We've got a pretty short day of hiking to Chukung this morning. It's only going to be about 3 hours up the valley with 1,500 feet of elevation gain. So we might put our bags down when we get there and do a little bit of exploring around Chukung this afternoon. We've been hiking for about an hour and a half, so we're roughly halfway there. We're officially over 15,000 feet at this point. The creek is frozen, the wind is very cold, but we're making progress and feeling good.
After we made it to Chukung, we just got checked into our guest house, had lunch, did some laundry, and then went on a little bit of an acclimatization hike. We just wanted to get up a couple hundred more meters from where we're sleeping tonight, since this is the highest we've been on the trek so far. And now that this is our 6th night, we feel like we have a pretty good lay of the land, so we wanted to show you around. So this room is pretty similar to all the other ones we've had so far. There are 2 twin beds, and there's no heating in here, but between the sleeping bags that we brought and the blankets they provide, we have been plenty warm at night. Also, a nice surprise, we've had pillows at each of the guest houses, which we weren't expecting. At the lower elevations, we had our own private bathroom, but since we've gotten a little bit higher up, it's been all shared bathrooms, so let's go check that out. We have 2 toilets here. There's no running water here, so this is our sink. And here's our water.
So far, all of the guest houses that we've stayed at have had this common dining and hangout area, which is the only space that has heating. They have all had a stove that's either been wood burning at the lower elevations, or as we've gotten higher above the trees, it's been fueled by dried yak poop. Also, be prepared to pay for charging that only gets more expensive the higher you go, which is the same story for Wi-Fi when it's available, and hot showers for that matter. But to be honest, these accommodations have really exceeded any of my expectations, considering how high we are up in the Himalayas.
Well, I finally started feeling the effects of the altitude yesterday afternoon once we got here. I had a pretty bad headache, and my O2 levels had been in the 90s all the way to Dingboche, and they dropped to the low 70s yesterday. So I just overall didn't feel good. But we got some really good sleep last night, and I'm feeling better this morning, which is good because today is our biggest day yet. Our plan is to climb Chhukung Ri, which is one of the 3 times this trek will get us over 18,000 feet. And if you're new to our channel, or maybe you don't know this, we climbed Kilimanjaro about 2 months ago, and I really struggled once we got over 16,000 feet. So while we won't be getting as high on this trek, we will be spending basically the next 7 days, I think, between 16 and 18,000 feet. So I'm feeling pretty nervous for what we have signed ourselves up for. But today is a really big test, so fingers crossed.
All right, it's about 7:30 and we are on the trail. Our luck continues with another beautiful clear morning. And like Jess mentioned, today is definitely going to be our biggest test yet. We're just going to take it slow. Should be about 3.5 hours to the top of Chukung Ri. All right, Jess, how are we feeling?
You know, better than I was expecting. I was feeling pretty weak when we first got started, but I think my body has gotten on board. This is what we're doing.
You know, it's easy to feel like we're not so high up when these mountains are towering above us, but when you think about the fact that Lhotse right in front of us is roughly the height that commercial airline flights fly, it puts things in perspective for sure. And I'm feeling this. I just told Jess she's like an alpine tortoise. She might look slow, but she never stops. She has so much grit and determination going up this mountain.
It's easy to just put your head down and get lost in putting one foot in front of the other. So I keep having to remind myself to look up and take in these views, which just keep getting better and better. I'm not gonna lie, I was really struggling there towards the top. Every step was painful. I was feeling weak and lightheaded, but Miles gives me so much encouragement along the way. Honestly, he gives me way too much credit. It's like he forgets that he's on the same trail as me. But we have made it to the ridge of Chukung Ri, and it's time to explore.
So that is the true top of Chukung Ri, which is actually over 18,000 feet. But we came up the hill to the left instead. So we're at 17,800 feet.
Good enough for me. And it's time to head down. I still have a really, really good confidence boost for tomorrow. And I have a grilled cheese calling my name. So let's go. So we have been eating a lot of fried rice and noodles so far. And to be honest, it was wearing on me a little bit. So last night I got this grilled cheese. We both just ordered one for lunch. This is seriously life-giving. So good.
I know she said that my encouragement really helped her get to the top today, but at least 50% of her motivation was coming from the fact that she knew she was going to have this grilled cheese for lunch today.
It is day 8 for us on the 3 Passes trek. Today is our biggest day yet. We will be crossing our first pass.
Not only are we going to be getting over 18,000 feet on Kongma Pass, but we're also going to be crossing the Khumbu glacier before we make it to Dingboche today. We're getting a pretty early start on the trail this morning. It's a little before 6, and we've got about 11 kilometers to Dingboche today. It should take us somewhere between 8 and 10 hours. We've only been on the trail for about a half hour, and the sun is rising over Island Peak. It's warming up. We're losing some of our layers, and we've already climbed quite a bit over Chukung at this point. How you feeling, baby?
You know, it took a while this morning for my mind and my body to get on the same page about what we're going to be doing today, but I'm doing better now. And here's a fun little TMI trail truth for you. About 2 days ago, I got a rash all over my body, and we have decided that it's a delayed allergic reaction to the Diamox I've been taking. So here we are on day 8, and I'm going to stop said Diamox.
Going over our highest pass.
So I don't know how much of my acclimatization has been natural versus the Diamox, but I guess I'll let you know in a few days how that's going. Miles actually only took it for 1 day, and it really messed with his stomach, so he hasn't been taking it the entire trek.
It might have been the Indian food that I ate in Kathmandu, but either way I wasn't going to risk it. So including yesterday's hike, we have 4 days in a row where we're going to be getting well over 17,000 feet, which has honestly been pretty intimidating. But yesterday's hike up to Chhukung Ri was a huge confidence booster, and so far today we're feeling really good. So we're hoping this continues because we've got a bit of a gauntlet ahead of us. We're about 1,000 feet from the top of the path, and we're climbing here right by some beautiful frozen waterfalls. The sun is going in and out of the clouds. I'm honestly feeling it pretty good at this point, but we're almost there.
I'm feeling a bit anxious. We've been hiking for around 4 hours, and the clouds have definitely rolled in earlier today than they have been over the past week. And we need to get up over the pass and down and across the glacier before any kind of bad weather rolls in. I don't even think we're to the hard part of the pass yet. And this is intense.
You just go about 20 minutes without ever looking up from your feet, and it takes everything you got just to put one foot in front of the other. We're on nothing but loose rock, climbing up a very steep trail. And it doesn't seem like we're getting any closer.
We can finally see the pass.
Oh man.
I see the flags.
And it looks like we have a pretty serious climb left before we are officially at the pass. Also, the clouds have completely come into the valley, and it is now snowing.
I am not loving the look of this last part.
You got it, baby. Almost there. We made it.
I can't believe we made it to the top of our first pass, but it is time to put the camera away, layer up, and get down.
We have never hiked in conditions like this. The way down is basically just a pretty steep rock scramble across snow-covered boulders. And we still have the Khumbu glacier to cross, as if the pass wasn't challenging enough. Oh. How you doing, baby?
I'm ready to get off these rocks.
The trail is frozen, so we're putting on some crampons. Really more like micro spikes. This ought to be a little better in the ice. We've made it to the glacier, and it's completely covered in snow.
And it's thundering. So this storm is not going anywhere.
How you doing, baby?
I'm doing good. I need to be there.
This is no joke.
Long day.
This is definitely the most serious trekking we've ever done.
I got nothing left. Physically, mentally, emotionally, nothing.
We have been on the trail for about 10 hours, and it looks like Dingboche is coming through the whiteout, so we're getting close. Oh, that was one hell of a day trekking. You've got about 4 meters to climb.
I don't think I can make it. It feels like it's been snowing on me for at least 17 hours.
It looks like it too. Look at that.
Whatever do you mean?
Oh, let's get inside.